text. The sun is setting. I can't wait to ride my bicycle late at night. I think I'm gonna shoot a video when I do that. I really enjoy riding my bike, and it's not because I like to exercise. I mean, exercising is always a good thing because it makes you feel good, because you're doing the right thing for your body and your mind at the same time. But it's awesome to ride a bike because it's the closest thing to flying. And yes, we just ran another red light. You missed it. But it felt really good to do it because we could have slowed down, and we said, no, fuck it. I want to show you guys something. See that building right there? That building has been a lot of things, but it used to be this yoga center. That building used to be a lot of things. I don't know what it is now, but it used to be a place where they held AA meetings. And this one night, I didn't have my license at the time, okay? I was on my way to an AA meeting, and I was getting ready to park at the building across the street that I just showed you. That used to be a yoga center. I accidentally hit the gas instead of the brake and smashed right into the building. And I did enough damage that you could literally walk into the building. It was hilarious. Now, my mother was with me. She was in the passenger seat, right? Because I had my permit at the time. And my parents, who are very by-the-book kind of people, they wouldn't let me just take their car with a permit, you know? She had to be with me whenever I was driving. And so she was in the passenger seat. She was so fucking bad. She was like screaming at me, and I could not stop laughing because it was hilarious. I just crashed into a fucking building. Man, that was a good night. The best part was that I didn't even get to go to the meeting. Because I was on my way to the meeting, and we were trying to figure out what to do. So, you know, of course, we had to get the cops involved. And apparently, like, the cop that showed up on the scene knew me. We'd had several conversations because he used to work at the movie theater with me. Like, he was on call at the movie theater where I used to work. And so we'd had several conversations specifically about pot. And because contrary to my sentiment towards the police department, I'm actually really, really good with police because I treat them like human beings, because they are until they prove otherwise. But yeah, we'd had several conversations about pot, and I hadn't seen him for years. And then he randomly shows up at this building that I crashed into when I'm on my way to an AA meeting next door, which is just hilarious. Like, the irony of this whole thing. Is it irony, or it's something weird? But anyway, the owners of the building are there, and they have their fucking dog. I just remember this like it was yesterday. They have a golden retriever, and there are all these people at the building. They're at the site of the crash, right? And I got to talk to the cop, and I got to talk to the owners of this place and explain what happened. And of course, my mother, you know, being the control freak that she is, she's like, she didn't mean to do it, you know, all this shit, right? all these people from the AA meeting come out, and they just see me talking to this cop. And I'm like, yeah, I totally crashed into that fucking building. Speaking of AA meeting, this location right here, this is downtown Franklin where we are. I know I've told you guys a lot about the Starbucks where I used to hang out and do step work. This is it. It's a horrible, horrible place. And it's not a horrible place just because it's Starbucks. It's a horrible place because of all the people that hang out there. People that go to Starbucks tend to be snot-nosed pieces of shit that think that they're superior because they spend an outrageous amount of money on shitty coffee that's not even fair trade. You remember when they were espousing that? Like, oh, we're fair trade and we're the good guys, you know, but I'm pretty sure that, like, they get their fucking coffee beans in a very slavery endorsed kind of way. I don't trust anybody that says they're fair trade. Like, I used to work for Dole Foods, and they're just as shitty a corporation as Kroger and Publix and all these other piece of crap corporations, but they love to pretend that they're not. They love to pretend that, like, you know, they're a good corporation. There's no such thing as a good corporation, okay? They're all fucking evil. They're all shady as fuck. It's just, there are certain ones that give off the impression that they're not that way. And I trust those motherfuckers even less because, at least with the Walmart, you know, there's like no shame at all. They're just like, yeah, we're fucking horrible. We're horrible. Everything's made in China. We're horrible. But at least you know that. When you go there, you're like, yeah, this is a piss poor place with piss poor products that were all made by, you know, 8-year-old Chinese boys that were pissing themselves sewing this t-shirt together. That's why it falls apart within a week, you know. It's just crazy though, like how much people, like, they're fine with that shit. And the best way to fight stuff like that is to be a minimalist. The best way to fight stuff like that is to not buy products from those places. Like, I realize that not everybody can afford to go to some mom and pop shop because the mom and pop shop's a lot more expensive. That's why the corporations do way better business. It's because they do that business in a really disgusting way. But I realize that, you know, when people need a product, sometimes they can't afford to go to some mom and pop shop up the street, or they don't know where a mom and pop shop is located, or, you know, they're not as conscious of that sort of thing as somebody like me. I get all that, but like I just said, the best way to fight that kind of stuff is to be like as minimalistic as possible. So, you know, if you're going to go to some piece of shit corporation, it's like try to spend the least amount of money there as possible. Try to go without You know, and I really had to work on that shit. And not because I needed anything that I bought, but because, like, I just wanted to fill the void, so I just buy a bunch of shit that I didn't need, you know? And I think a lot of people do that. They go to these places, they go shopping because they want to feel something. They stuff the void with a bunch of meaningless shit. And now they don't even have to do that. All they have to do is stare at a phone. They stare at a phone that helps them buy shit, but you know, to be the ultimate minimalist is to not need all that stuff, to not have a phone where it's really, really easy to buy a bunch of crap. And you're really like selling your soul more than anything else. Because when you give them your mind, that's like prostitution as far as I'm concerned.